I am most driven by the arbitrary nature by which kids are brought into this world. The fact that some kids will be born poor, while others will not. And for those that are, that they will have a lower chance of life success, but for no fault of their own. This is incredibly puzzling to me. I mean, kids do not choose to be born poor, to be subjected to bad schools. They don't have a choice for what families that they're born into or the environments that surround them when they enter this world. But they're still expected to run the same race. Kids learn very early on that these expectations are far reach, so they give up on their dreams before they could ever possibly be realized. And what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Langston Hughes raised this question in a poem originally titled Harlem, that was later turned into a play by Lorraine Hansberry, set right here in Chicago in 1959. The play details the experience of being colored and poor in America and raises important questions about dreams, but specifically the fulfillment, or rather unfulfillment of them, that rings so scarily true today. Last year alone, 54 public schools were closed in Chicago, 90% in Black and brown neighborhoods, the most school closings in US history. A month ago, 276 girls were abducted while at school in Nigeria. Today, they are still missing. 3 weeks ago, 7 people had been shot within an 8-hour period in Chicago. A few days later, a 14-year-old girl shot another teenage girl. The shooter is being charged with murder and her victim is dead, but remember, they're both teens. So what happens to their dreams? My goal is not to be grim on tonight. It's just to speak the truth about what is happening. And it's not an episodic crisis that will pass. It's been going on too long for that. It's more accurately characterized by the term genocide, a total decimation of public schools, of urban lives, but most importantly, of dreams. Now, why do I keep focusing on dreams when there are clearly very serious issues on the table? Well, dreams are important because they allow us to imagine something different, something beyond ourselves, something beyond the grim events I started this talk with. And unlike most things, everyone could potentially have them. So they give us something to believe in, something to look forward to. This is important, in fact, maybe even fundamental for those who do the type of work we're honoring here tonight, and for the young people who are impacted by it. I do work in urban centers across Africa and the US, and I found that poor kids all over have similar stories of disadvantage and overcoming. I am constantly in awe of the kinds of issues that young poor people, particularly of color, experience before the age of 10 in this city, Chicago, and the overall neglect on behalf of all those that could do something about it, us. The lack of support for these kids at the bottom of the barrel has influenced their own disbelief in themselves and has thus dried up their dreams as they become crowded in reality. And why should we expect them to think otherwise, when data suggests that 70% of those kids born into poverty will stay in poverty as adults? Yet then, of course, there is me. We all know a young person like me. I am Black, from a low-income, single-parent home. I'm from Chicago, but I made it. And certainly, I believe that my success is by no means exclusive or unique. So this must mean something about what is possible, right? But looking at the numbers, I would still be considered an exception, or rather the one that got away, or to use an old analogy, even a broken clock is right 2 times a day. The point is the clock is still broken. Kids are still broken in an environment that has effectively become a dream breaker of the poor, even if one of us makes it out every now and then. So I no longer believe in luck. I'm not banking on hope. I'm not counting on the 2 times the broken clock is right, and I'm so over coincidences, because I think all of these concepts make people who do have options take less responsibility for helping those that don't. Because they view the success of persons like me, or many of you all in this room, as earned because of their hard work or lucky. And both of these assumptions remove the clear barriers that are not at all lucky or coincidental, but intentional. Policies that made it that way, leaders that let it be that way. All of us, yes, all of us, because these are the circumstances we bring kids into. This is the world we have created for them. In order to change this, we have to first understand the serious consequences of not addressing the issues concerning disadvantaged kids as connected directly to us. You see, we can build fences, push people out, develop borders, and other similar band-aids. In fact, we have done all of them. But it's only a matter of time before those same kids you neglected are at your door. The hope is that it's for a good reason. But it will only be the case if we understand their fate as tied to our own. And to accept this is to take on a heavy burden, because this means you might invest your all in one of these kids and they may still not end up where you want them to be. But I guarantee you, it will result in at least one less person in jail or shot. In fact, your contribution may be realized in an even less tangible form than that. But you may help a young person experience for the first time what it feels like to have someone who cares about them, who supports them, and who loves them. Doesn't every child deserve that at least? But I'll go a step further and just say that just like your own children, you may invest and see no real impact. You may get no affirmation, no return, but do it anyway, because at the fundamental level, it is right. My view is that we at least have to start there, with a basic belief that it is our responsibility, that this work is not altruistic or philanthropic, but that it's just as unquestionably important and as routine as taking care of your own. Imagine a world that thought like that, changing worlds. And I know what you're thinking. Resources aren't unlimited. I see people constantly trying to determine which kids are worthy of their sponsorship. I often get questions like, what program will give me the best return? But what this has done is it forces us to treat children like objects, stocks, or bonds, and causes us to neglect the fact that the only factor between a kid who fell 7 times and got up and she who didn't was that someone did not give up on her. Somebody was there when she finally got up. That somebody can, should, and must be you. At the root of this is the belief that all kids can succeed and deserve to be given a chance to dream, and that you yourself can imagine a different world for them. Changing worlds is important because it does just that. It takes these young people and helps them build identity, while simultaneously attempting to eliminate the structural barriers such as violence that makes their dreams seemingly impossible. It places value in art as a tool to help kids too crowded in reality reimagine something different that they can eventually believe in and that we can all nurture. What if we were all on the same page about what techniques are useful and what to do about it? And what if we worked together as achievement nets, catching and protecting kids before they fall? Notice I said an achievement net, not a safety net. A safety net represents a reactive solution, a just in case. An achievement net is proactive. It is essentially a network of teachers, peers, and other role models like you in this room who aren't necessarily family related, but play a similar role in supporting the success of young people. You see, because most young people have dreams, or rather had dreams, to make a better living for their families, simple ones, to do better than those before them. And while for many, their dreams have been deferred, it does not mean that we cannot try to create the conditions to help them believe again. Many of us can point to the exact time we realized that what we wanted was not going to be what we got. And what happened to those dreams? Did they dry up? Could you or someone else have done something different? Can we take those lessons and do something different for those that come after? If not, then what good is a dream deferred? Is it better to not have dreamt at all? I would like to end with a quote from Langston Hughes' first autobiography. In his concluding line, he states, "Life is a big sea full of many fish. I let down my nets and pulled. I'm still pulling." May we all have the courage to truly believe that this world, this country, or even just this city can be a big sea of possibilities for our young people. May we all continue to work together as achievement nets, tirelessly pulling kids from their highest hurdles into their highest dreams. But most importantly, may we reimagine our dreams for them as bigger, as bolder, as more daring than we ever dreamt for ourselves, and then begin to do the work for it to happen. Thank you.